Hello, hello, hello. We are starting our live today. This is our weekly program of Unsung Heroes of Disaster Preparedness. And this week we have some special guests. I can't wait to tell you all about them. But before I do, I want to give you time to get into the room. And also, I want to tell you about our co-sponsors. I'm going to share my screen. Here we are, Unsung Heroes of Disaster Preparedness. We are here today. We have a number of great guests. But before that, my name is Patrice Williams. I'm your moderator. I'm the founder of both Empower Solano and Brand Gov Outreach. I have been in Solano County for 20 years, and I'm happy to be here and to serve you. But more importantly, I want you to know who our guests are this week. I know you can see them on the screen. Give it a wave. Mayor Randy Hartt and Vincent Valenzuela. Give them a wave. Give them a wave.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Yay. I'm going to give them a little of your bios so everyone can get to know you. Vincent, I'll start with you. Vincent Valenzuela currently serves as the Disaster Program Manager for the American Red Cross in both Solano and Marin County. Vincent has a responsibility of supporting the volunteer base in both counties, performing activities in mass care planning, that's sheltering, feeding, and reunification, community disaster preparedness education, which includes Be Red Cross Ready, Sound the Alarm, Pillowcase Project, Prepare with Pedro, logistical readiness, community and government partnership, workforce engagement. Vincent has been working in the nonprofit field for 20 years, 12 of which have been in Solano County. Working this time, Vincent has developed successful professional relationships with individuals and organizations. I know that's right. And Vincent is the graduate of both Sacramento State University, where you've obtained your bachelor's degree in communication studies. Did we get that right, Vincent?
You got it all right. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. I am now going to introduce Major Randy Hartt. Major Hartt is currently the Solano County Coordinator for Social Services and Disaster Services for the Salvation Army. He is also the administrator for the Salvation Army Ray and Joan Kroc Center in Sassoon City. Major Hartt has been an officer with the Salvation Army for 28 years and has been an incident commander for several disasters over the years, including the Yarnell fires that took the lives of 19 Granite Mountain hot shots. I could get turned around, so I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
In 2013, during the event, he coordinated 5 feeding operations in support of the American Red Cross, as well as provided direct logistical support to the incident command post, which was comprised of both federal, state, local authorities at Prescott High School in Prescott, Arizona, as they put together the memorial service for the 19 fallen firefighters, as well as mitigating the ongoing wildfire in Yarnell. Major Hartt also helped provide some of the basic needs for the families of those fallen firefighters during their time of grief. Most recently, Major Hartt was the incident commander for the Salvation Army operations here in Solano County during the LNU fires, where the Salvation Army brought feeding support to first responders on the front lines of the fires at near Lake Berryessa, as well as the feeding support to the Red Cross shelters. and to the incident command post for Solano County Emergency Services that were based in Mission Church, which is here in Vacaville. The Salvation Army responds to multiple fires a year in Solano County to support first responders with hot food, hydration, snacks, and they bring feeding support to the American Red Cross when an event causes evacuations. They open shelters.
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that was a mouthful, and I'm sorry it seemed long, but I kind of wanted to keep people up to date. But yes, and I really just got to say, I love working with Vincent and the Red Cross. When they open shelters, we want to be there to support them, so we love working with them. It's amazing.
I second that completely. It's been a fantastic working relationship in Solano County, Red Cross and Salvation Army, and not just on our, disaster responses, sheltering and things along those lines, but some of our other programs we do where Salvation Army comes out and supports, and volunteers come out from their side and our side. So we have a fantastic relationship here in Solano County.
We really do.
I know that you all have a great relationship because we were talking at one of our other Unsung Heroes. We were talking about the Solano COAD. Yeah. And so during our mastermind meeting, Rhonda Smith said, you have got to bring them on. Because they are pretty amazing, and I thought she was saying that you all were founders, but you just was informing me. Nope, we're not founders. We are co-chairs of the Solano COAD. So why don't you explain the Solano COAD to us? And I know that this is going to be interesting because this is the first time we've had two people at one time. Mm-hmm. But I believe that because you all work so closely together, you can give us a 30-second about the Solano COAD and how you all and how that came to be here.
Vincent, go ahead.
For sure. I actually credit our Solano COAD. Actually, it was a VOAD originally. So it is an acronym for Community Organizations Active in Disaster. People may hear that acronym COAD or VOAD with a V. The VOAD is Volunteer Organizations Active in Disaster. I actually credit our Solano COAD some years ago with bringing me to the Red Cross. I attended a meeting when I worked for a different organization, and I attended the Solano VOAD meeting where Major Hartt was co-chairing with my supervisor, Debbie Yee. They were telling the story of the response. I believe it was for the Napa fires. And I was blown away with the response. I was blown away with how Salvation Army, Red Cross, and these other organizations came together to support families after the Napa fire. And when it was time for me to look for another job after I left that organization, I really sought out the Red Cross, and I credit it to that meeting and learning really about how disaster response works. So that's a backstory to that. But currently, there was a period of time that our Solano VOAD wasn't too active, and there was about a year or so period that there was just a dip in meetings. And when I came aboard, I got with Major Hartt, and we really had some brainstorming about how to re-energize and bring back our Solano VOAD at the time. And this was, I believe, maybe July or so of last year. Yeah, and so we got back together. We pulled out the old rosters and the old sign-in sheets and started sending out some emails, started reaching out into the community, sending the invites out, and started having monthly meetings and getting back in the flow of it, and really encouraging organizations here in Solano County to take disaster preparedness serious. It's paying off now that we have some activity here in Solano County, that these organizations are coming together. Before we came on live, Major Hartt had mentioned that we transitioned from a VOAD to a COAD. We switched that volunteer organizations to community organizations, just to help encourage more folks, more organizations to come to the table. That term volunteer, we heard a couple times that, someone would say, well, I'm an employee, I'm not a volunteer. Can I still go? And so we just try to take that off the table and let people know it's community organizations. No matter if you're a volunteer or an employee, you can still come to the table and be a part of the Solano COAD.
And it's really is a community organization, because in COVID-19 times here, since March 16th, we've had several things where COAD has come together. And of course, when CVNL jumped on this year, it's even been better, as actually last year when they jumped on. And so the group has grown. But we've been able to help. We've been able to help bring food to several organizations through that, to shut-ins. Rhonda's reached out to us. We have Meals on Wheels in our group. Just tons of activity going on where it really is a community organization. We come together to meet the needs in Solano County, whether it's blue skies, COVID-19 times, or in times of disaster.
Well, thank you for that. You just led in perfectly, not knowing that we were going to bring up our community partners. And Volunteer Solano is one of our community partners that have sponsored this event. And the leader of that organization is someone you just already shouted out, Rhonda Smith. She is not only the leader there, she is part of the CVNL team, who you just also mentioned as well. And just turns out that she's also the brainchild of this program. So, yay, Rhonda Smith.
Rhonda's awesome.
Also, one of our sponsors is Listos, California. We're going to be bringing our community right in a few minutes here the 5 steps to disaster preparedness. How do we become, as a community, prepared for an emergency? But before we do that, I wanted to make sure that I say that I have attended a few of the Solano COAD meetings, and it is an amazing group of people from all over the county, the community, and organizations that care about emergency preparedness. And I've seen everyone on that call, from different executive directors to mayors. I've seen everyone on that call, and this group cares about moving the county forward and putting energy behind emergency preparedness. So I just want to say thank you for your vision and restarting, re-kicking that organization forward. It is, I believe, it's life-saving for our
community. It really is.
Yeah, it really can. Yeah,
it truly is.
Yeah.
And of course, we both chime in. This is just amazing. This group is incredible. Every single person on there. And of course, we're always looking for new members, new people to come, new organizations to come forward, because as we know, especially after this last event, it's been a very, very long time since we've had an event of this size, those lightning fires in this county, Solano County, and this one really impacted our county in very.
Yeah.
Would you like to let people know how, or if you want to put it in the chat, it'll go everywhere. But if you want to, so at the very bottom of our screens, gentlemen, you can see that type a message. If you want to type a message, you could tell people exactly how to sign up for the Solano COAD. And by the way, we are live. We are streaming on 3 different platforms. And I see Jason Roberts. He was our first unsung hero for Solano County. He came on and spoke to us on 9/11. And he is shouting you guys out, and he's saying, thank you for getting the COAD up and running again in Solano County. Jason, we see you. Thank you for kicking us off. I see Lisa Clinton. She is she administrates us and makes sure that we all get here at this location together with our unsung heroes. Thank you to Lisa Clinton. I see Tiffany Jackson Childs. Hello, hello. It's good to see you. And we do have one question. Let's see. Dr. Lily Pulaski. Great information about emergency preparedness. I used to have the FEMA IMS SIMS certification. Is there any support for regional training for Solano County? If you all know, you just let us know or tell us right now before we jump into the presentation.
I don't have any specific information on NIMS or SIMS certification training. There may be, but not off the top of my head. I don't know. There's other disaster trainings available, whether it's through Red Cross, Salvation Army, CVNL, UASI, other groups doing disaster training. I don't have any specific info on NIMS or SIMS.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's jump into this presentation. I'm just having a little too much fun with you all.
We do, however, on Solano COAD, we are connected also with other OADs and COADs. So there's always announcements that come forward on that chat of trainings that other areas are doing online or on Zoom. So, and of course, there are things that we offer. And also once a quarter, we try to have a group come on, one of the groups share about something, and they do kind of a present training, so to speak, on their organization and what they do was helpful. So we do things online like that, and they're also resources, and so they can reach out. And I know that your folks at CBNL are very connected. We try to share that information.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's jump into this. We are going to talk about 5 steps to disaster emergency preparedness. And what we're going to do is go through each of the 5 steps. We're just giving you a glimpse of what we're going to talk about. So that way, if you have questions on your mind, you can kind of get those prepared and ready to go. So get alerts, make a plan, pack a go bag, build a stay box, and help friends and neighbors. So we're going to go through those steps. And by the way, I see Jessica Kelly. She was one of our unsung heroes as well. She is saying hello, and she's appreciative of our COAD here in Solano County. You guys are doing some great work. All of you unsung heroes seem to know each other. What's that about?
The COAD. It's the COAD. It really is. These organizations have come to the table at the COAD, and it is a true, it's Solano County coming together and supporting each other. That's how a lot of these connections have been made at that table. So it's a fantastic thing, and it will carry on and overlap with future responses that we have, and future preparedness activities as well. It's not just about response, as this conversation here. It's about being prepared for that response.
Right.
Absolutely, and we also have the connection because in our executive committee and on the COAD group here in Solano County, we also have the representative, Robin Rains from Solano County OES, the Office of Emergency Services. So there's a direct connection with the Solano County Operations Center. That's what becomes active in disasters when things happen. That's the operational center that helps coordinate these events for the county emergency management. So we have all of this information, all these folks coming out at one time to prepare us and for us to talk through issues so that we can better serve.
Got it. Okay, number 1, get alerts. So we have this alert screen, and we're told, look, calalerts.org, and we've had other unsung heroes that have come in and talked about using the radio. They use different alert systems outside of calalerts.org. I know I use alert solano.org. And so, but here's all of these different alert systems. Do you agree with them? Should we add more to the list? Should we modify? What are you both using?
You want to jump into there, Major Hartt, or?
Sure, I think, and then I know we were talking about this yesterday, actually, on the different things that are out there. So a lot of people, as you spoke, I think last week you had somebody else spoke of Nixle, and that's one that many people receive. And that's a wider, believe that's a broader spectrum of alerts. So people on Nixle can kind of get everything that comes down. Whereas I believe Alert Solano, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Vince, is more targeted to events that affect public safety. So whereas Nixle will give you weather alerts, all kinds of stuff, whereas we kind of look more for things that we're going to there's a potential for us to activate on.
Definitely.
So when those alerts come out, the alert Solano ones that come to us that we also look at, because that's kind of more directly specific to agencies that respond to things like that. And then go ahead, Vince, on the.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my internet connection just had a little difficulty for a quick second, but I'm back. But the main thing I think with alerts is getting one, getting some type of alert. For us in Solano, of course, I use Alert Solano. Because I'm signed up for many different, so I shouldn't be the probably anyone in a disaster response capacity probably is an extreme on one end. But just for the average person, Alert Solano is a fantastic resource. We can take it to that level of social media. There's a lot Twitter accounts, for all the local fire departments, OES. We get information. There's staff and volunteers always looking at social media, always looking at alerts. So the most important piece of this, in my opinion, is just getting one, taking that first step. If you don't have an alert, I mean, there's Red Cross apps that I could direct people to, but if it's Red Cross, fantastic. If it's not, if it's Alert Solano, fantastic as well. But the main thing is get that alert so that that system, so that if there is an evacuation, if it's a warning, if it's a mandatory, this is information you need for yourself, your families, your neighbors. So start with one.
I love it. I love it. I use Alert Solano, but I have to, when I see the social media as an alert, I laugh, because the truth is, if I feel an earthquake, I grab my phone and I'm like, is this me? And then sure enough, all my friends are up and saying they feel the earthquake too. So
There's also Solano community awareness pages on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so if people type in that, you can join that group. So they have people, they're ramping up things if they see fire. Let's say we saw, so there's a large community there. With us, with regard to these wildfires that we respond to firefighters, we have two ways we get them. Solano Dispatch will call us, or City Dispatch, Vacaville, Fairfield, and they'll call us and see if we can respond and support their firefighters on fires, these local fires here. Or we're also, our proc centers, right, shares the same parking lot with the Sassoon Fire Department. So sometimes this last fire we're out on, I think it was earlier this week, it was off of Highway 12. They walked next door. I got an alert from dispatch, but they also came next door and said, "Hey, can you go?"
I love it.
We went, yeah. So it's a lot of.
You know what? For our audience, let us know what you're using as your alert system, and if you don't have one, let us know as well. So just put it in the chat. We'll all see it, and we'll talk about it. And Mildred, I see your hearts. I see you there. She's part of our Listos CVNL team as well. And let me.
Hey, Patrice, I just want to throw this in really quick, because I've had this conversation in regards to alerts. Listen to them. If you get an alert, whether on no matter what type of platform, it's for a reason. I've heard so many times that someone got an alert and to evacuate, and they didn't. And then there's emergency response folks having to come in later to get them out. Those alerts come out for a reason. So if you get that alert on your phone and it's telling you to evacuate, it's a mandatory evacuation, evacuate. That information on the other side of that is coming from OES and the EOC and the folks that have that intel. So you have the alert on your phone or your system for a reason. So if it comes through, take it serious.
And also, neighbors, it's good for you to know that in your neighborhood, get these alerts, and you know that there are seniors or people who may have special needs or disabilities, and they may not get these alerts. Go check. If you get these alerts and you're going to evacuate, go check on your neighbors too and make sure they've got them and that they know. It's just an important way. We need to look out for each other.
Major Hartt, we're going to have you repeat that on step 5. We have a screen about neighbors, and I need you to repeat that, because that's a powerful message.
Absolutely.
So the next screen is to make a plan and create a contact list. Who will you need to connect with, including someone that lives outside of your region. What do you think? Create an evacuation plan. That's also part of making a plan. What do you think? Does this look complete?
Go for it, Vince. I'll let you take yours, then I'll touch on the kid thing that we do.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. We support this completely in making a plan. Red Cross has several programs that we do that we actually make plans with individual households. We have one program called Sound the Alarm, where we go install free smoke alarms into people's homes. And then we give them some disaster preparedness information. And one of the pages we give them is an actual diagram where we have a Red Cross volunteer and that resident sit down and draw out the map of their home and look at where the exits are for their home. Always reminding people that a window is an exit in the time of emergency, and if that window needs to be broken, that is an exit of that room. So we sit down and draw out these maps with folks, determine where their meeting spot will be for their family. And this really goes old school. I mean, I know growing up, in many families, there was always that meeting spot across the street or wherever it may be. It's still that same concept, having a plan where you're going to go, how you're going to get out of the house. So yes, I 100% agree with that in making a plan. Because in that moment, you're not going to make a plan in that moment. When it's go time, it's time to go. So it's not time to make the plan in that moment. So it's a simple 30-minute conversation with the people that live in the house. That's a very important thing. That if there's 5 people living in the house and only 4 people know the plan, it's not a plan.
I love that.
It's got to be everybody in the house is on the same page and knows what's happening.
I love it.
And we have a program that we use where we have with the children that we've been teaching in our troops programs here, as well as in our youth groups, and things. And with our after school programs, which are now distance learning all day programs, they're for essential workers and first responders and like that. So we have many children here in a COVID safe environment. So we at our Croc Center, but we have this program where we have the kids become these junior disasters. And so oftentimes children are the best campaigners for this in your house. They'll make sure the plan is being followed. They're going to want to run the drills that we tell them to run and to have the list ready and to get the boxes ready because it engages them and they love to be engaged. And it really is an important thing. And so a lot of times kids are the champions. Parents, we get busy. We get busy with our lives. We get all these things, but kids are singularly focused many times on stuff like this.
Definitely.
And so they're ready. I mean, it's 6:30 after dinner, and it is run a drill night.
Right,
You know?
right.
And they do it once a month or whatever. They run a drill night, and they're going to make sure their parents don't forget it's run a drill night.
You know, it's a brilliant idea to make our children the captains of the house to really manage this whole process.
It definitely empowers them. On that note, I'll share one of the programs that Red Cross does. Major Hartt, I believe you're familiar with our pillowcase project, where we teach 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders how to prepare and what to pack in their pillowcase. This actually comes from disasters long ago from a college campus where people saw college students evacuating from their dorms and packing their belongings in a pillowcase and then evacuating. That was adapted for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So now we go in, well, not now during the COVID times, but when we were able to, going into classrooms and teaching this curriculum. And part of the curriculum is actually giving them a workbook and telling them to go home and talk with their parents and talk with the adults in their home about this. So we really try to empower those kids and get them prepared and take away that fear. They all get a pillowcase, they get to decorate it, color it, put the things in there that they want to put in there, their comfort items, their flashlight, things that they'll need in regards to evacuating their home. So it's really, really important to get the kids involved.
And although you can't get everything out of your house, obviously, there are really important things to have in making that plan. You're going to want to know what that is. I don't want to jump the gun on what you're.
Don't you jump screens? Hold on.
There it is.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Go bag. I think you were just about to lead us in that conversation.
Exactly. And the Red Cross has got great material on this. We have stuff as well. And it's really important to have those essential items that you cannot do without. Things like your insurance papers, your anything that is very critical, especially if your home is impacted by an event. It's important to have those types of things that are super personally, although you may not be able to get everything, things that you just say, this has got to be in there, you know, some very important stuff. And that is something that you, as you're making that plan at your house, know what is going to go in this box, what is going to be in this tote, you know, that we are going to have it, and we're just going to toss it in the car and out we go, you know. And you know, necessities, a week's worth of water, things like that. And Vince, I'll let you carry it from there. So,
yeah, having a bag is really important. We have another program. It's called Be Red Cross Ready, and it's about a 45-hour-long presentation, all about individual preparedness. You know, how to prepare that bag for your car, for your home, for your work, and what to put in there, how to put it together, and what needs to be in there, and sometimes what doesn't need to be in there. That's really important. And that's actually, I can't share with you after this, Patrice. We've taken those Be Red Cross Ready classes virtual, and we have a flyer I can send you, and anyone can log on to these classes. We offer it a couple of times throughout the week, once in Spanish. So I can send you that information. You could share it with your groups as well, and people are free to log on and get some individual disaster preparedness. And I will share another document with you after this fact. It was the document I was referring to before we went live. It's one of my favorite documents to hand out when we're doing outreach and tabling. It's called the 21 Weeks to Preparedness. And it's a little shopping list in a sense for people to go through their home. A lot of the items that go in a go bag, people feel like they need to go to the store and purchase these items. A lot of those items are already in your home. They're just separated. You know, some are in your garage, some are under your kitchen sink, some are under your bathroom sink, some are in the medicine cabinet. So this list encourages folks to go through their home week by week by week and basically go shopping in your home and really putting those items together. It encourages you every week to put aside $1.75. At the end of that 21 weeks, you have a little pot of money where it encourages you to go buy a hand crank radio. So there's little things that are part of this list that it just breaks it down. It simplifies the concept of putting together a go bag. We have it in English and Spanish, trying to get it in some other languages as well. I can definitely send that to you. And I think it's a great document handout. And it really, you know, like I said, breaks down, I'm looking at it here, it breaks down all the different items that you may not be thinking about that you'd be needing.
I think,
and those hand crank radios are super important because in a major event, earthquakes are notorious for this. And it's fortunate we haven't had something major for a while, but can too. They knock out communications many times, which means your cell phones may go down. They may not have any service, which means you don't have any way to find out alerts and things. That's why these hand crank radios, your kids and your family may look at these and say, or you may look at them and say, what are these? You know, well, they look like old transistor radios, but they have a crank ability to power them, keep them powered. So, and you can get them in sporting goods stores, places like that. You can find them, but they are very important because radio waves do not go down. And so people getting alerts that way, they push out any state, local authorities and people, they push out those information on all methods of communication.
You know, thanks for talking more about that. One of another unsung hero, Ron Turner, gave us a little information about radios too. So this is, it all ties in. And when you said $1.75 a week, that's right up my alley. I can save that.
Yeah, it's not that much. I mean, I purchased one of those hand crank radios off Amazon, and I think it was under $25. And they had some other ones for $15. I mean, so you put aside $1.75, and after 21 weeks, purchase your radio.
Well, Tanya Austin says that she keeps her hand crank radio in her glove box, and she has an emergency bag in the car.
Absolutely.
There you go. She's ready.
You know, I have a bag too, but I'm thinking I want a cute pillowcase and bag. I don't know. A pink one with some flowers. I don't know.
You get to decorate it, color it all in. You can do that.
My pillowcase would just say, "Yikes, run."
Get out.
Get out.
So building a stay box and preparing for 3 days. Do you think 3 days is the number? Should we be preparing for 3 days, or really 5 days, or 7 days? What are your thoughts there?
I think it depends on where you are, really.
Yeah.
If you're here in our community, for example, when these LNU fires came over into our county and on down into 80 and jumped 80 and started, and they had evacuations, Red Cross started setting up shelters in the areas that we had. And we started activating as far as providing some food. So those who weren't comfortable being inside, and Red Cross, obviously, they had their COVID-19 shelters are amazing, super amazing, super safe. But some people still aren't comfortable, so there were people in the parking lots as well. And you never know. We were providing some meals there as well, whole place. But you may be in an area where you're not, somewhere like up in Lake County or places like that, where you may not be able to access. You may be stranded in an area near a roadblock, waiting for a week to get back into your property, and so that might be a time where you might want more.
Yeah.
It kind of really depends on where you are. You're kind of out, a little rural, more rural.
Yeah.
This stay box will look a little different. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. When Jessica came on, our unsung hero, Jessica Kelly, she came on. She had her stay box, and she was pulling stuff out and showing us. And then, so I have to tell you that I saw Mina Diaz today, and she may be related to somebody on the panel.
Yeah.
And
How you doing, Mina?
and she said, she gave me some insight. She said, Vincent has stuff, emergency preparedness stuff everywhere at the house. So I almost was in your background when you came on. I'm looking in the background to see.
Oh, nothing right here. This is just the living room. In the garage, I got, I got my stuff ready to go. And it really, I have to admit this, before I joined Red Cross several years ago, I've been at Red Cross now a little over 2 years. We always had the concept of getting ready. But obviously once joining Red Cross and really get into the weeds of disaster preparedness, I definitely had to purchase some more items and get ready where I feel like I can still be the disaster program manager in my professional life, be prepared in my personal life, and combine those two worlds. So yeah, had to get some items and be prepared for what could happen, especially in the days we live in now with the PSPS events going on, and people could be out of power for several days. So definitely had to get things prepared. And I definitely agree with Major Hartt when it comes to the 3 days, and depending on where you're at. Some areas, you could hear 3 days, 7 days. It just really depends on the event itself. But again, same concept with the alerts. Having one, have the alerts, have the stay box. That's at least the start. And I will throw this out there in regards to medications. Most pharmacies will allow you, if you speak with the pharmacist, and let him know you're preparing an emergency kit. You can get extra medication to put in your kit. If some people need, their daily, medication to stay alive, and if they don't have an extra supply of it because it's what they're using for their normal day-to-day use, you can get emergency supply from your pharmacy for your emergency kit. So I strongly suggest that. Whether it's for yourself, your pets, whatever it may be, put your extra set of glasses, the glasses that sit, in the junk drawer of your house that you don't wear anymore because the prescription may be a little bit old, throw it in the stay box or throw it in the go box, because if you lose your main glasses, the old glasses with the prescription a little bit off is better than nothing. So all those things, throw them in there.
Awesome. So we only have one more slide before. Let's look on our chat to see if we have any comments. I think we've got, I see you, Brother Ray. Brother Ray is running for office here in Fairfield. Thank you. He's saying, thank you for the leadership. Thank you for your leadership, Brother Ray. I know I was working on a project recently. So we all were surrounding census, and Brother Ray called, and I said, look, we need to count our unsheltered. We've got to count them each. All of our census numbers count, whether we're 5 years old, no matter what our ethnic background, whether we're sheltered or not. And Brother Ray said, absolutely, let me plug you into the unsheltered community. And we were able to get them counted. And by the way, we ended with a 99.7% participation rate with the census in Solano County. And a lot of that is owed to our communities that help us plugged into our unsheltered. So thank you, Brother Ray, for that, and good luck on your campaign. And Tanya Austin wants a cute pillowcase too for her.
Hopefully we get to start that program here pretty soon. Hopefully, we were talking about doing the pillowcase virtually with some students. So that's still in the works, but hopefully when the COVID umbrella is lifted, we'll get back to doing our pillowcase presentations, and we could bring that. We normally go to schools, but if wherever there's, if it's a daycare center, I know we've had some conversation about possibly bringing it to the Croc in the past when there was a childcare there. But yeah, we could bring that program wherever there's, that age range of kids. We actually started another program that will be coming up for kindergarten, first and second graders called Prepare with Pedro. Same concept, a little bit less intensive because the age group's a little bit younger, but the same concept of using the kids as that driving force to get disaster preparedness information inside the households.
That's awesome. And it's funny, you're referring back to a children's program, and we're grown adults, like we want a pillowcase. So
Yeah.
how
You can pack your stuff in there too.
Oh, so our last slide is to help friends and neighbors. And Major, you were kind of alluding to this. And by the way, Jason Roberts really brought this home too in our first unsung hero, to talk about our neighbors and do we know our neighbors, and caring for our seniors and making sure they're aware of alerts and getting safe. And then Major, you were in the wrong slide, sir, but you were sure about to tell us all about it. So
yes, absolutely.
Continue your thought here, okay?
It really is important in our communities to look after each other, and this is a really key thing. For example, I had somebody come to us when we were at the incident command post, the LNU fire. It's a place where also the animal shelter information, and also people were dropping some water and things like that, Julius and Gatorades. And a gentleman told me a story where he was in his car, they were fleeing, the fire was right there, and they were fleeing, and he thought, I wonder if my neighbor's gone. And this was a neighbor who had some challenges. They were ill. I don't remember what the challenges were, but they definitely had some. And he started to leave, and it kept bothering him. He was like, I'm going to go back. And he went back and knocked on the door, and sure enough, she was asleep and had no awareness. And they got her out and got her in the vehicle and took her. And she wouldn't have made it because their neighborhood was taken by the fire. So it's really important that we think about who's in our neighborhood, and really it helps build community because we're getting to know people in our neighborhoods, and for all kinds of things. It's good to have that neighbor support and to know who they are and to interact with your neighbors and so that you can, in any time, you guys can take care of yourselves and be able to ensure that everyone is safe.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was Jason that said, and Jason, you can paraphrase, and you said something about we are our brother's keeper.
Yes.
And that really just kind of resonated with me. We're responsible. I live in a cul-de-sac, and I'm like, you know what? We're responsible for each other in this cul-de-sac. I don't have the right to be too busy to see who my neighbors are and to check in with them. And I really appreciate that. Oh, by the way, and congratulations to you, Jason, for running for office. I'm wishing you the best in your campaign. Election day is coming up, huh? November 4th, Tuesday. Can that happen soon enough?
Coming up.
It is. Very quickly.
Yeah, so we have another 3 minutes. We're going to see if the community has any questions for you, you unsung heroes. It looks a little quiet. I think they've been asking questions all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I'll add really quick just on the knowing your neighbors. Not so much, and I'm going to refer to the PSPS events. You know, when we're out of power for several days. Not so much even in regards to evacuation, but if your neighborhood is out of power for several days, know who is dependent on a medical device that requires being plugged into the wall. That requires energy. A lot of folks were not notified that they're not tapped into the alert, so they didn't know they're going to be out of power for multiple days, so they did not properly prepare. And if they are life dependent on electricity because of some type of medical device, it's really important to go knock on their door. You know, if they're not going to come out and seek that out because they're just not aware of it. So it really is getting past that point of our society where we don't know our neighbors anymore. Go knock on their door. Even in the COVID time, knock on the door and step back 10, 15 feet so you're not right there when they open the door. But go knock on their door and make sure they're okay when it comes to the PSPS events and people are out of power for several days.
You know, interesting you would say that because that's an example that Jason Roberts gave. He said someone came and knocked on his door. So I don't know if he said he got the alert, didn't, slept, I don't know. But he said someone came and knocked on his door and said, "Hey, are you okay? This is what's happening."
Yeah, so, really important.
To you guys, all of your stories kind of all play into each other in this powerful way.
And to circle back on one last thing, when you get those alerts, when they give you those alerts, they're giving you time. So before it gets to evacuate, mandatory, get out. When there's alerts in the area, there's one final thing. Go put gas in your car.
Yeah.
That's really important because when the evacuation started in Vacaville on Wednesday, it was insane. It took people on Leisure Town going down Bandon just to try to get over by Sassoon from Vacaville, 2 hours on Bandon to get there. And you're talking about an incredible amount of time. If you catch that ahead of time when those alerts first come, you can make the gas station before things get crazy if it turns into an event that's gonna affect the entire communities like this last one did.
Yeah, definitely. The car can become a definite resource. If you need to charge your phone, you have no power in the house, you can go sit in your car, turn your car on. Most people have phone chargers in their car. Charge your phone. Definitely, that is one of the first things I've told people to do. Like Major Hartt said, fill up your gas tank and get some cash out of the bank because probably the ATMs won't be working. Gas pumps won't be working if there's no power. So fill up your gas tank and get a little cash.
Yep.
Love it. Well, I think we are right. We're 3 minutes before the time. We're really good with, even though we had 3 of us and had answered questions in between. We did so good on time. So I just want to say thank you both. You brought such a great point of view to this topic. We want to keep bringing our unsung heroes forward in this area because you all have the best ideas. You are really our thought leaders in this area. I mean, that's what I think of you as. You're our thought leaders. You're our go-to when in this area. You've mastered it. You breathe it. You sleep it. You have garages full of emergency prepared stuff. I mean, you all are ready. I remember Jessica came on and Jessica was showing us these different food options to put in this thing. I mean, really, you all are making us better. So making our county better. And I believe you're saving lives. So I just wanted to say thank you.
And if your organization is is interested in finding more about COAD, Solano COAD,
Yes.
they can call either Vincent Valenzuela at the American Red Cross here in Solano County, the Salvation Army at our Croc Center as well. And so I'll shout out my number. It's 707-439-7880, and just ask for Major Hartt, and we can get them tied in if they're interested. Or Vincent?
Yeah, my number is 707-366-5047. Feel free to give me a call anytime. If you're looking for any COAD information or just general Red Cross information, anytime, feel free to give me a call. And big thank you, Patrice. This has been fantastic. Great conversation. Yeah, and a big thank you to all the volunteers. I got to give a big shout out to all the Red Cross volunteers, all the Salvation Army volunteers.
Absolutely.
None of this work would happen without them. They truly are the backbone of what we do. So, you know, I may be the disaster program manager and Major Hartt, you know, his Royal Salvation Army, but without the support that they offer and that they bring, none of this would happen. So big shout out to all the volunteers.
Echo that. Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, that's it. We have this one in the bag.
All right. Thank you.
Take care now. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.